So then we know who the top four teams of this Asia Cup are. The Super Four fixtures are now fixed. You knew already who are the two teams who will be representing or coming out of Group A. Now B1, B2, there is clarity on that as well. Match that was expected to go right down to the wire wasn't quite the case, but still we do have some talking points. Afghanistan at the halfway stage, you thought that they were the team in the driver's seat, but their joy and their comfort didn't last for too long. At the halfway stage, they would have been extremely happy with the recovery that they did. But Sri Lanka, for a reason, they have been the best team, and they ended up finishing right on top as far as the group of death is concerned. The Group B, which had the toughest teams as well, or the close or the or the group that look like will make things difficult as far as progression is concerned. There you see Bangladesh somehow managing. They were the team that wanted a result to go their way. They wanted Afghanistan to lose, and they've got exactly that result. As far as Sri Lanka are concerned, they, for the second time now in this group, in this group stage of the Asia Cup, they've gone ahead and showed very good signs. They've also reminded everyone that they're the second best team historically in the Asia Cup for a reason. And today we'll just talk about how that chase went about. And at the halfway stage, it did look like there were enough runs that Afghanistan had gotten, but the lack of turn is what possibly didn't work in favor of Afghanistan. They did ultimately get to a good total, but one that wasn't good enough for them overall on the day, because the spinners weren't quite able to get their A game to the fore, especially Mujib and Noor, both of them conceding in excess of 10 and over. That's what their economies look like at the end, and it was a very meticulous chase as far as Sri Lanka are concerned. There was an early wicket that Afghanistan got. In fact, I would say two early breakthroughs that they got that reduced Sri Lanka to 47 for 2. However, it was that masterful innings from Kusal Mendes that we saw, the winning runs also coming off his bat, that ultimately ensured that Sri Lanka go ahead and secure the top position. They remain the only undefeated team then from Group B. They were extremely good and very clinical in that game against Bangladesh and against Afghanistan as well. They've reminded everyone of why is it that they end up doing well in the Asia Cup again and again. Perhaps the due factor as well could have just thrown Afghanistan off their plans, but I didn't honestly see a lot of dew today as well. A lot of dryness. It's what I'm getting to know right now is that things are extremely hot over there in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai, but to my naked eye, it did look like that it's the lack of turn that was disappointing the Afghanistan bowlers the most. As far as that chase is concerned, Sri Lanka did make things look easy right towards the end. Look at that margin as well. There was more than an over to spare, and all they needed was these little partnerships. As I said, bulk of the work was done by Kusal Mendes. You then had Kusal Pereira, who was looking good, and perhaps you thought at that time when Mujib got that wicket that things might just tilt back in favor of Afghanistan, but that wasn't to be the case. And yeah, Afghanistan will be very disappointed with how their campaign has turned out to be, because look at how things were for them just a couple of years back in 2022 when this tournament was last played in the shortest format. And remember, we're talking about a format that suits this team the best. We know that they're not quite there as far as Test cricket is concerned, ODI cricket as well. We've seen glimpses from them, but they've come very close, but at times they found themselves to be too far. However, it's this T20 format, and this is a crushing defeat if you ask me, from as far as Afghanistan are concerned, because they did progress into the Super 4 when in 2022 this tournament took place in the shortest format. That time as well, they were pitted against Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, so the group was exactly the same, but they won both their matches and then progressed into the top 4. Ultimately, in the top 4, things didn't go their way and they finished right at the bottom. However, they'll be disappointed from how things were a couple of years back and where they find themselves right now. And if you ask me what's going wrong with Afghanistan, I think the answer lies in their batting. While they did eventually get to the kind of total which should have been competitive, but the way Sri Lanka went about their business in the chase told you that perhaps there was a bit more juice, there was a bit more for the batters to go ahead and do on this particular wicket. We've oftentimes said in the build up to the Asia Cup that if the top two or top three don't get runs today again, Sadiqullah Atal, their informed batter, he looked good, got to about a 17-18, got to that 17-18 mark, but couldn't build beyond that. And that is something that continues to ail this Afghanistan side, that just doesn't seem to have quality batters in the middle order, because once the top order is dislodged, then they find difficult to get runs. And Rashid Khan's batting position as well, they need to do something about that too. I oftentimes have said this, that he's batting too low for what he can do. Today as well, you saw a couple of no-look shots from Rashid. The confidence that he has and the ability that he possesses, there is a little more that you can extract out of him with the bat. But the other batters really need to work on their skills, and it's not been a tournament they'll be extremely happy with. Remember, this comes at the back of the tri-series defeat as well. There as well, they made it to the final, and of course with the third team were the UAE, and you expected Afghanistan to go ahead and make the final. But there as well, three times that they played Pakistan in that series, they won just the one time and lost against them twice. So Afghanistan, before the World Cup next year begins, they do have a few months to figure these few things out, if they are to make a mark in the format that suits them the most. I'll quickly take a couple of comments before I go. Freaking Awesome says poor captaincy by Rashid as well, as and we have been seeing it for a while now. Sachin Kashyap says Man City versus Napoli is a tough game for Manchester City. Let's see. I was, in fact, before going live, I was just talking to my colleagues and hoping that, of course, there's a bit of Manchester United sentiment that is going to come in some way or the other. This, by the way, marks the reunion of Kevin De Bruyne and his former teammates. Also, from that United perspective that I was talking about, you saw Højlund score a good goal, or that too. Just a few days back. One hopes, in fact I would hope to see there is a goal or two from him today as well, but it'll be a difficult job, let's be honest, about this particular fixture that Napoli have on their hands. Interesting, there is a McTominay as well. Let's not forget another Manchester United boy who plays now for Napoli. And yeah, I do see a lot of football comments. So Sarat Chandra, the usual suspect who does watch a lot of football, he says, Harshit sir, Barca versus Newcastle scoreline prediction, and of course he's rooting for Barcelona. Looking good, Barcelona. As far as Newcastle are concerned, they're extremely vulnerable since the time Isak has gone. I'm going to go with a 3-0 scoreline. I don't see Newcastle being able to trouble Barcelona much, and Barcelona had a convincing win over the weekend as well, if I recall rightly. Manu John says it's poor Afghanistan, and he feels sad for them. Yes, that's exactly as I was saying as well. For a team that takes pride in playing T20 cricket, this is definitely a big setback for them, because there are tougher tests that await for them. There's the World Cup, which is just about less than 6 months away from where we are right now, and they really need to sort these things out. For now, I'm going to take your leave. I see a lot of banter on football happening. You guys go ahead in the comment section, continue with the banter, leave me with your predictions, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take very good care. Good night. Tata. Bye bye.